Round 12 of the Supercars Championship takes us to the home of horsepower, Sandown International Raceway, for the Supercars semi-final. Located 24 kilometres east of Melbourne CBD, we find Sandown Raceway. Given the nickname the home of horsepower, not just for the track's long back and front straights, but for literal horsepower, as the circuit is built around a horse racing track. With the track opening in 1962, but not seeing the Australian Touring Car Championship till 1965. The ATCC, now known as Supercars, would host the Sandown 500 here from 1965 till 1999. This was a two-driver 500km enduro race commonly run ahead of the Bathurst 1000, an opportunity for teams and drivers to warm up to the longer format ahead of the big race at Bathurst. Over the years, the Sandown 500 would build its own legacy. In 2000 and 2001, Sandown would drop down to a sprint round, before returning as a full 500km race in 2003. In 2008, the 500km sprint round would fall away again to be replaced by sprint races, then returning again in 2012, where it would stay until 2019. In the original calendar for the 2020 season, Sandown again would drop down to short single-driver races. However, COVID would force us to miss Sandown completely, with the track returning in 2021 and 2022, but as sprint rounds. After 2 years of fan demands, the 500km race would return again in 2023 and 2024. However, the deal done with the Ben to see it host its own 500km endurance race would see Sandown losing its 500km race again. As of data writing, it looks like the traditional 500km race isn't going to return anytime soon, as the freshly released 2026 calendar still shows Sandown as a finals round. No format has been confirmed yet for 2026, but it's safe to say it will be the same 250km split format that we're seeing this year. A quick note here, not all events known as the Sandown 500 were supercar events, with the track's owners and promoters running several Sandown 500s with other categories in years which supercars did not run the race. Among all this is the constant threat of the track's imminent destruction in order to make way for more houses in Melbourne's difficult housing market. This claim has been going around for years, dating back as early as the mid-70s. As of the last few years, the impending end of Sandown has seemed to slow, with only the odd news article every now and then, as fans wonder when the fun at Sandown will finally end. Being in the heart of the Springvale suburb, the estimated value of this land is astronomical. In late 2024, the land was valued at 600 million Australian dollars, and the track's close proximity to existing homes is causing several issues for the track's motor racing activities, such as the strong noise curfew forced at the track. As outlined in the round 12 subregs 8.2 through to 8.4, no engines are allowed to start before 8 AM or after 6 PM. As we saw in 2023 when the winning cars had to be towed back to pit lane due to going past the curfew. That all being said, it seems that Sandown is safe for the foreseeable future. Sandown is an anti-clockwise circuit with a track length of 3.1 kilometres, consisting of 13 corners, 6 to the right and 7 to the left, defined by its 2 long straights and a surface of mixed conditions, with old patchy track compared with newer but still patchy track dotted all around the circuit. Being a permanent circuit does not eliminate the risk of meeting a wall, with speed rail lining the edge of the track, particularly along the back of the circuit. Hotspots here for both overtakes and carnage can be found at turns 1, 2 and 3, turn 4, the turn 6 to 8 complex, and turn 9. As mentioned previously, last year was run under the 500km enduro format and earlier in the year, making it hard to use it for a form guide this year. That being said, last year saw a pole to win for Will Brown and his co-driver, Scott Pye, with Brock Feeney and Jamie Whincup making a 888-1-2, with James Golding and David Russell making it a all-Chev podium. We're back with the same 250km split format we saw at Gold Coast, consisting of 2 30-minute practice sessions, 1 qualifying session per race, 1 top 10 shootout per race, and 2 250km races, each consisting of 81 laps for a combined distance of 500km. As always, all times are local track time, Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Starting on Friday the 14th with practice 1 at 1:05 PM, moving on to practice 2 at 3:35 PM. Saturday kicks off at 11:50 AM for race 30 qualifying, then the top 10 shootout for race 30 at 12:40 PM, and then rolling into race 30 itself at 3:20 PM for 81 laps. Sunday will run similarly to Saturday, with qualifying for race 31 at 11:25 AM, the top 10 shootout at 12:50 PM, and finally race 31 at 3:20 PM for another 81 laps. In the unlikely scenario that races run long due to safety cars, red flags, or scheduled delays, time certainty has been set for 5:13 PM plus 1 lap for both race 30 and 31, as outlined in the round 12 subregs 8.3 and 8.4. Supercars will be supported this weekend by the V8 Super Utes, Porsche Carrera Cup Australia, Toyota GR Cup, and the Touring Car Masters. For those watching at home, this is a Fox exclusive round, meaning it will only be available live within Australia only on Foxtel and KO. Channel 7 and 7 Plus will have extended highlights in the days following the events. Following the fallout of the Gold Coast 500, 3 drivers have dropped out of our finals. Ryan Wood, Brodie Kostecki and Anton De Pasquale have failed to make the cut. This leaves only Brock Feeney, Chaz Mostert, Matt Payne, Cameron Waters, Will Brown, Kai Allen and Thomas Randall. Again, the points for the top 7 have been reset, with now the gap from Brock Feeney in 1st to Thomas Randall in 7th only being 107 points. Like the Gold Coast, the bottom 3 drivers from the top 7 on points will drop out of the finals, unless they win one of the 2 races here at Sandown. Only the top 4 drivers, or a driver who has won a race, will continue to the grand final at Adelaide with a shot to win the Drivers' Championship. No wildcards this weekend, but still a new face. Following the announcement that Richie Stanaway would not be racing for Premier Racing in 2026, the team and driver agreed to cut the farewell short by parting ways immediately after the Gold Coast 500 weekend. Replacing Stanaway for this weekend is incoming Premier driver Jayden Ojeda. We will go into a more in-depth introduction to Jayden in a later video, but this isn't the first time we've seen Jayden Ojeda on track this year, as he was Ryan Wood's co-driver at Bathurst and the Bend. It's unsure at this time if Jayden Ojeda will also drive the 62 in Adelaide, or if his incoming teammate Declan Fraser will get the drive. That's our short preview of round 12. Enjoy this weekend's racing at Sandown.